Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the DungeonsSwag.com team, and we are on the Darkmantle, from the 3.5 Monster Manual as we go in order here, creating all the monsters. We lucked out because we get to use my favorite color on Earth to start this model. This is Pavement by Apple Barrel. It is a Walmart paint. It is nothing fancy, and I love it. So I got a little bit of water on my brush, and I'm going to start painting this guy Pavement. Now, the Darkmantle is nothing to get excited over. He is not a strong enemy. He is a level 1 bozo enemy for D&D. He is nobody. But I didn't have a Darkmantle miniature, nor have I actually ever purchased one for any reason or printed one for any reason that I can think of, because I'm not impressed with them. So making one is a good reason to use one, right? We're going to try not to hit that flight stand, so we don't have to go back in there and paint it. And let's do his base in gray too, because that's going to be the stones that are in the cave. How these dudes fight is they pretend they're a stalagmite, which, how you remember stalagmite and stalactite. The stalagmites might grow to be big and strong one day, and stalactites hang tightly from the ceiling. All right. I think we got him pretty evenly covered here. So, according to the artwork, he's pretty dark. But because we don't want all our miniatures to be dark and dismal, we are going to lighten him up some and maybe add some kind of color pizzazz in some way at some point. But we're going to figure that out as we go. I don't have a great plan in place. I just kind of craft. You know my motto, F it, let's build one. So this is the +2 hot air gun of burning. It's essentially a Liddell Sassoon hairdryer from... Okay, I remember it one way and my wife remembers it another way. But anyways, it's something that nobody else wanted, and I ended up with it. And it is my best hairdryer. My other hairdryers always catch on fire, and this one's starting to, but they always catch on fire pretty quick, and this one's been lasting a bit. So I'm getting pewter, which is like a medium brown, or a medium gray. And I'm going to get a piece of cardboard here. And we're going to start lightening him up. We're going to start with the rocks on the bottom. They're going to get a serious coat of this. And then we're going to start giving him some variation of tone. I am not a professional painter, so if you were looking for a professional painting guide, this isn't it. I am just a guy in my basement making minis on the cheap. Budget builds. And for this part, I'm just giving it, I'm not really aiming at anything specifically, except for I am trying to hit the tentacles for sure, and some of the cloth. I am trying to lighten him up and give him some tone variation, because nothing is really just all one color. Even if you look at an all black dog, and with perfectly black shiny fur, and you take a photograph of it, and you zoom in on those colors, and use that little dropper to grab it, they have different variations in their black even. Some will have blues, and some will have grays, so... That's my thing. I'm like really into that kind of silly time madness. Now, if you were interested in stopping right here, you definitely could. I'm not. I'm going to keep going here. I'm getting this elephant gray. I'm going to get a little bit of a smaller brush. And I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. And I'm going to come down here and lighten up these rocks underneath so that they have enough that you can notice that there's something different down here, okay? This is not like a super important part of the paint job. This is just something to make the base look a little more meow. And we're going to take that same paint and I'll get a little bit of a bigger brush. We're going to get a dry brush out. This is a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. We're going to lighten him up heavily. focusing way more on catching those raised tentacle parts than I am on catching the fabric, but I am hitting the fabric some. Okay. And I'm going to really focus on lightening up the top of him here. Okay. Now I'm going to get that same paint. I'm going to squirt a little bit out. Let me get a different one, actually. This one's a little thicker. It'll do nicer for what I want. So I'm going to get a little bit of this country gray. It's real light. And I'm going to get some white. And if you want to see how your dry brush goes, you can make yourself a dry brush board, or you can use a rock or really anything. And what I'm looking for is something like that quality, not that. Now I'm not trying to hit the fabric as much at all now. I'm just trying to touch his tentacles. Obviously we'll hit the fabric a little bit, but it's not my main goal. Okay. So now we need to figure out what we're going to use to lighten him up, or color him, so he's not just a boring gray creature. So let's get our little, that thing. Let's make a blue wash of some sort. So I have this tropical blue here. I'll put a little bit of that. Let's get some water. And we're just going to use a brush. Oh, I got paint all over my hand. Hold on. We're just going to get some water in there. Okay. This is a real fine wash, and we're going to hit our homeboy with it. And hope that it only brings him down to a ridiculously light tone and doesn't ruin him completely. The only reason I chose blue is because we've been doing a lot of purple and green and orange, and I thought it'd be nice to switch to blue for a minute because we've been using quite a bit of other colors. And we don't want all our monsters on the shelf to be one color. We want to try to, if we can, make them varied. All right, let's set this off to the side and clean the brushes out. Now he's a little lighter than I really wanted at this point. I'm not super happy with that, but I think we can make that work. I'm going to hit him with the gun and see what the hot air gun and see what he's going to kind of look like. He is way lighter than I wanted. So what I think I'm going to do here is, I could make another wash, but I'd have to go find another container to make it in. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of tape, and I'm going to grab some of the speed paint. And I'm going to go over that with the speed paint and darken them up a little bit. So the speed paint I'm using is going to be, I'll tell you in a moment, Gravelord Gray. And we're going to get a brush, make sure there's some moisture in it. He is way lighter than I wanted, and now I think he's going to be way darker than I wanted. And that's okay. As long as some of that blue shows through and you can tell that he's supposed to be blue, I'll be a little happy. Cannot breathe. Get a little more of that. Alright, any of the bright blue spots that are sticking out, make sure you nab those so they don't look silly. So that was a mistake to do that blue. Probably should have done a darker blue wash, and maybe done like a darker blue speed paint. I'm going to get some of this cloudburst blue here. And I'm going to get it back into the fabric spots a little bit. And if you get on the tentacles, I don't think it'll kill you. I just got some on 2 tentacles, so there you go. It won't kill you. This should make him dry like a really dark and deep kind of in those spots at least. Now for the spots where I didn't want that, I'm just getting a damp brush, wiping that dark blue off. Okay, something like that. I did want to put eyes on him, but I didn't craft any eyes into him, and I'm worried that with the irregularities in the shape of his bulbous part here, that eyes would not be able to symmetrically be added where the tentacles are and look good. Plus, I also noticed when I was base coating it, those tentacles kind of melded together there, and those kind of melded together. That wasn't supposed to happen. So if you didn't have those problems, you might want to try for the eyes. I don't think I'm going to try for the eyes, though. I think that's not going to bring anything to this model to make it look better at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him with the hot air gun again. Kind of get an idea what he looks like. Alright, so that's our Darkmantle, and it's way darker than I wanted, if I'm going to be honest, but at this point, to dry it out and try to dry brush it down again would be, I don't think, we're overpainting, and we're not going to fix it to get what the effect I wanted. So this is the one I came up with. So I'd like to see what you came up with, so head over to the Discord, join our Discord, and post your Darkmantles and other things you've made by the channel. I'd appreciate that. I'd like to know that some of you have learned something or had an idea or anything. You know, I'm just curious as to what you guys are doing. And I'm also assuming a lot of you are much better crafters than I am. Yes, I've been doing this for a long time, but I, only have so much time and so much creativity, and I'm not a professional. I'm a dude in my basement. So if you're a young teenager, because I noticed some teenagers have been watching. I'm sorry I swear a lot. I'm going to try not to. I thought it was mostly adults watching, so I will try to watch my mouth better. If you're one of the men or women that have been watching or something in between, thanks for your time. I really appreciate you dedicating to hang out with me and watch my videos. There's so many videos on YouTube, and mine are not by far the best of any kind of quality. So I do appreciate that. It is a big deal to me. As I'm looking at this, I was going to start doing my call to action thing, but we're just going to hit this with some paint because I just am not happy with that final look. So I got here, this is called Admiral Blue. We're going to get a little bit of that. We're going to get that makeup brush and dry it out as best we can with a t-shirt. We're going to wipe a lot of that out. And let's come back and hit this guy again. Probably going to regret this, especially this late in the game. But we'll see. Maybe we can make it work. if that speed paint had been dry all the way, oh shit, that's too much. If the speed paint had been dry all the way, I think this would have been a better endeavor. I knew this was not a good idea to start painting on this guy again. You'll learn from me that the things you don't want to do happen in my videos. So even if you're not learning any new techniques, you're definitely learning what not to do, right? Okay, that's more like what I kind of wanted. Something, it's not ideally what I wanted, but it's closer to what my vision was. All right, so there we go. That is our night mantle. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with me here and watch. Like I said, no more heartfelt speeches for this video. Go to the website, buy some minis off me. Hey, I'd love that. If you don't, that's fine too. I just like making stuff. It's a lot of fun. We have some discount codes. Check those out. Like, subscribe, share, notification bell. I think I'm missing one. People keep telling me what to say. I don't know what they are. For those of you that are commenting, I really do appreciate any kind of feedback, even if it's negative. Negative feedback helps me too. Somebody complained about me doing stuff off camera, and it's helped me really focus on trying to keep things in camera better. Some people complained about bad editing. There is no editing. I just make these, so that didn't really help me, but I do want to learn how to edit. I just don't want to invest the time into it. I do have a full-time job. This is just something I do in my basement for fun, so keep that in mind. I record these live, you know, with no practice or anything, unless I fail. Like the first one of this, I lost. He's somewhere in the house, in the basement here, flying around. But just keep in mind that I am not a professional. This is something I do for fun, so there is no editing, and I do appreciate your time. So we'll see you next time on The Delver, which I'm probably going to start recording pretty soon here, because my work schedule was messed up today because I had some issues I had to handle with one of my sites. So I will be back with The Delver quite soon. Thanks for watching.